Hello?
Hello, is this Levi?
Yeah, is this Jerry?
Yeah, it is. How are you?
Hey, man, how are you? I'm good.
Very, very well. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Brisbane, Australia.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you guys
Good
are
place.
coming. You guys are playing here really soon, and I'm really looking forward to the show because I missed you guys last tour, so this will be my first time seeing the Misfits.
Wow,
I can't wait, man.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get there. Just so you know, make sure you got connections to get on our list, our guest list, to come down to the show. So make sure you backtrack through channels and get your name on if you need to.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, I do photos at pretty much every show, so I'll be doing photos at least, so I might even get the chance to say hi at some point.
I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. Now, you're going to be playing the Static Age album in full, and I know it's a bit of a different lineup than what was originally on the album. Are you going to try to keep it fairly close to the original album, or are you going to embellish it a bit and put your own style and take on it?
Well, I put it to you this way. Well, what we're playing it and how we're playing it is really the way it should, we do it. And so, is it exactly like the album? I don't know. I'd have to A/B it, but I know in my mind it is.
Yeah.
Okay. You play a little bit faster live. It's just a natural reaction. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing that I think it is. It's probably going to have a little bit more spice to it, but it's coming out really well. I mean, we try and catch the groove. I mean, we do songs like "Come Back," and we try and catch the groove, and then songs like "Team for Jackal," we try and catch the groove. So we got it all. I mean, we got slower ballads, we got some kickers, we got some thrash stuff, and I think we come with a pretty wide range of variety of stuff,
Yeah, cool. And you're playing with Mark Rizzo on guitar, who's from Soulfly as well, I believe.
Man, that's so funny. You're the first person to ask me that since the record came out.
I just noticed it just then.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, my son is playing those leads now. I'm really proud of him. Mark wasn't with us on the tour, and we're doing the songs. I bring up the bass player from the She Demons to play Vampire Girl with me, and my son plays the leads. So, but the thing is that he's doing a great job, and Mark did an amazing job, and he's from Jersey, and we know him from being a local boy. He lives a couple miles from us. So, when we started getting ready to start thinking about doing new songs and new albums, we figured, hey, let's bring Mark down and see what he can add to the party. And I like what he did. I mean, we worked on the lead together, and he knocked it out. I think he dropped some rhythm tracks as well. And my kid does our producing. He's our producer as well. So the funny thing is that he wants you to do it all in one take. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard to be 100% on 100% of the time. You know what I mean? To do it all. He didn't want to punch, so he really drove us into the ground with that. So, but I like it. I think the record came really good, and I think that the song is a song for a younger audience is how I envision it. Today there's a lot of girls that are involved in the punk scene as well as guys. I mean, we probably sell just as much girl stuff at a show as we do guys stuff. So the girls are there. I would say maybe 30%. They just have a tendency of spending more when they spend. So they'll be half our merch, but they won't be half our volume. And they, And Vampire Girl is kind of something that I thought would appeal to, the teenagers who are all into these werewolf movies and all this kind of cool stuff, Underworld and all that kind of cool stuff. So there's your new single.
Yeah, awesome. I can't wait
I'll put
for
it to you that way. There you go.
And just speaking of the merch, the Misfits skull, it's so iconic now. When you think of popular band T-shirts, you think of AC/DC and Kiss and the Misfits. Did you ever think the skull would be that popular when you started with the Misfits back in the day?
I got a funny feeling it's going to double soon.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really do. Things are starting to fall into perspective. I think that the original vision of the band although obstructed
Yeah.
many times along the way, okay, internally obstructed many times along the way. I think the image of the band has come to the point it needs to come at where it's ready to evolve into something bigger. I got this really cool idea for next year, and a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of people know who we are. So what happens is people come out of the woodwork. We'll go to a town, and we'll stop in, Sacramento, California. And the next thing you know, people that are working on really cutting-edge stuff will come down to see us and say hello. And they'll say, oh, hey, look at this. Look what I'm working on. And the next thing you know, there's a way of incorporating our skull or our band or our music or our image or our vibe or whatever we can add to the party winds up being a very productive thing for whatever's being developed. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the Misfit forward roots into the future of things is just tightening up. It's just like, it's really getting a grip on everything. And that's what I like about it. I mean, I think that we break ground. I think that we break ground not only musically, but I think we break ground on a merchandising level too, as you've seen. I mean, we obviously don't pull in the hundreds of millions of dollars that Kiss pulls in, but I mean at the same time, what we're working on is everywhere. And what's more important? What's more important? I guarantee you, I went to Manhattan. The Shoe Demons came out to record, so we go to Manhattan. Right? I take them out for the day. I show them where CBGB's was. I show them where Kansas City was. We go to McSorley's. We go to St. Mark's, Punk Row. I take them to all the shopping, whatever, all the punk stores. Because we got a punk street in the middle of Manhattan. Yeah. So anyway, we do all that, and during the day, I see 4 Misfit shirts, and one of them was on the Mona Lisa.
Really?
And I was like, oh, what a perfect image. It's the Mona Lisa where the Misfits go. And I think we're going to do it. I don't know who did it. They had no right to do it. It was a bootleg. We've never done it. But could you imagine, like Da Vinci painted Mona Lisa, am I correct? I think
Da Vinci.
I think Leonardo da Vinci is a great inventor. I think he painted the Mona Lisa. So the thing is,
it sounds right.
Imagine like incorporating the Misfits into a Da Vinci and making it so cool. You know what I mean? That it's like cooler than it ever was. To the most people. And so I'm just like, you put that skull on, shit, and it works. So I mean, and that's really why I think things are looking good for us. So, I'm really happy. I'm really happy to work on some new stuff. And our 40th anniversary. I'm so happy about that.
Wow,
that's a milestone for me. You know what I mean? Now I'm in the set. Then I'll have 10 to go. You know what I mean? I can make it. Well,
speaking of longevity, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, he's getting around on a cane now, and he's clearly not a healthy guy anymore, but he's still going, soldiering on. Do you think he'll be soldiering on like he is?
Lemmy's a trooper, okay? But you got to realize Lemmy's been drinking, smoking, and doing drugs from when I met him in 1979. Yeah. Okay, so you're talking. Look, he's lived 8 lives. You can't catch up to yourself. Well, that's my point. You see, with me, I'm 56. I gotta go to like 68 to make 50 years of music. You know what I mean? So the thing is, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can't drink. I can't smoke. I can't, screw up. I got to work out. I got to, for me to make the 50 years. I mean, he made it, and he partied the whole way. I mean, I don't know how somebody does that. But I tell you what, my dad was like that. He used to drink a bottle of cognac a day, get cancer. Same thing that killed Joey Ramone. My dad had cancer and lived for 40 years. Same thing that killed Joey. My dad had for 40 years. So, but he drank a bottle of booze a day, and, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. So, it's hard to figure, but, we played with Lemmy before. Good band.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. I know you probably get asked about the whole Metallica covering your songs a lot, but back in the very early days, Metallica were representing the Misfits shirts, and then when they got really successful and were covering your songs live. I'm just wondering, how did that help your career? Do you think they did they boost your career at all just by covering the songs?
They built the bridge. They built the bridge.
Yeah.
They built the bridge. They built a bridge for us between 1983, when we totally lifted off into the stratosphere with Earth AD. When we did Earth AD was 1983. That's 33 years ago, or whatever, right? Let me tell you something. Nobody has gotten it yet. The only people who slightly got it were Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Slayer, Megadeth, Marilyn Manson. All these guys, when they see me, tell me, oh, it was like, when I got into you guys, that's when I saw my vision. You know what I mean? So, to me, you know what I mean? I think that it's important. I think that music is meant to be played by those who could play it. And during those years, we couldn't. I remember knowing that Metallica was out there playing it, and Glenn was going with them, and I'm stuck in my shop in litigation, working, and trying to keep the boat alive, So it was a long time. I mean, that we had a fight, and you learn a lot of lessons. And I think the most important lesson you learn is that you got to keep going, and you got to try and get as much in as you can. And that's why I think 50 years for me, and now that my son's in the band, it could be 75 years of this band, based on how things work out. Do we get a solid lineup? Can I switch lineups in 10 years and still be credible? There's a point. I won't sacrifice the integrity of the band to keep the band alive. If the band is going to suck, the band will be over. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. This is not a job for me. It's an adventure. So the thing is that, I want our next album to be our best. I want it to be the album that people say, wow, I'm so glad they stuck around. That's like their best album. And that's what I want people to say. So, on this tour, we're doing Static Age, and that I came to the vision of, now I'm no longer thinking in terms of 50 years. I'm thinking in terms of 75 years and a new album. So I'm thinking now, I'm saying to myself, self, you might as well start at the beginning. If you got the kid in the band, you might as well start with the first album and learn every old song that there is. And then now we so far we've done all the ones that Glenn was on. Now we're learning all the ones that Graves was on. And then once we got those down, and the 50s record, which grows constantly because we got our own label. So what we do is every time we record now, I want to do one more Christmas song for our Christmas record, and two or three more songs for our 50s album. So it keeps growing. So eventually, you got 30 songs on your 50s album, and you got 15 songs on your Christmas album. I mean, and that's how it is, and all real stuff. But taking a career to weed this stuff in tastefully, and I think that's really where we're at. I think I'm at peace with the positioning of the band at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned learning the Michael Graves era songs just before, and it's funny, everyone always talks about the Danzig era, but for me it was the American Psycho album and Famous Monsters that got me into the Misfits, and I still love those songs.
Levi, can I tell you? I hate to cut you short, but I can read your mind. Okay, what I'm about to say, nobody understands either. The younger kids who support this band, who make this band alive today, like that era's music better than they like the original stuff, and that's the bottom line. And nobody sees that except better than me, because I'm playing the shows. So I know what songs get the pop. You know what I mean? And I know where they're coming from. And the thing is that era music is, to me, more accessible to today's audience. And that's what it boils down to. I'm hoping that the next two albums change that. Okay? Devil's Reign, I think, is probably my best work. Okay? But, however, some people got it, some people didn't. We didn't have a record label do it. We did it on our record label. So it was limited. Today, everything's internet. That knocks down your record sales. Record business today sucks. You really can't make a living selling records unless you're in, I don't know if you guys got Best Buys down there, but now it's like this giant chain store that sells TVs and computers and CDs. They have one rack and it's got 100 different bands on it. So if you're not in the top 100 bands on the radio, you can't sell a record. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? I don't give a shit. I can get by without record sales. So if I can get by without record sales, why do I need to make garbage? Do you know what I mean? To try and push it out the door.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm in a position where I can be very, very choosy. I don't know if you got our new single, if you got to hear it, but I was very curious on what you thought, because it was kind of a side project that I was working on when I was working with the She-Demons. So, were you able to hear our new single?
I haven't heard it yet. I've heard your last album.
Oh,
everything
okay.
you've done since.
Well, we got a new single. Yeah, we put it out. My son produced it. Ed Daisy and mixed it. He did all the Ramones stuff and our album. You know, Ed's a hero. He's an American hero. So,
well, I'll post it out on the website straight after the interview.
He still believes. You know what I mean? The thing is, a lot of people really lost faith, but Ed still believes. So I mean, that's the beauty of it. I haven't lost faith either. And I try and keep music alive, and real. So that's that's what it's about.
Yeah, I won't ask you too many more questions. So I know you got a few interviews to come, but I know a lot of bands.
I'll tell you what, I got you till the hour. So I mean, you called in at 4:40. I got till 5. I have no idea what time you are.
Okay, well I can ask a few more questions then.
You got anything else, or we're good?
I always wondered. I never knew what happened with Michael Graves leaving the band. I was just wondering if you're still friends.
All right. Off the record.
Yeah.
Or on the record. There's different.
Okay.
There's something if you're
can I put it on the record?
And you want to know, I'll tell you, but I ain't telling the world. I mean, it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah, I won't tell the world.